joining me on the phone line, as is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Sports Bash. It's Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City here on the Sports Bash. Mike, welcome back in. How you doing today?
Hey, Josh, doing well.
You staying hydrated with the heat and the thunderstorms and the crackles of lightning?
I'll tell you, this weather is ridiculous. The only good thing is you don't have to shovel heat, right? So I'll take this over snow. But 100-degree days, a couple days in a row, boy, that's tough.
It absolutely is. Mike, but speaking of it, it is the week of the All Star Game. So I got to ask you, I understand, first of all, I'm going to sound like the old man instead of you. I got to tell you, I hate the uniforms last night. I felt like it was like some futuristic version of baseball they were trying to replicate. I mean, baseball's got to stop overthinking this. It's baseball. It's not a futuristic showcase.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, obviously, I'm for the guys wearing the uniforms of their regular uniforms. I'm for that, not anything else. So, I agree. The uniforms that they have are ridiculous. And, although I still enjoy the All Star Game, I wish, as Bryce Harper said, that everybody was wearing the uniforms they normally wear.
And the other thing was that drove me nuts is guys were in there for 2 pitches or 2 outs, and they, like Christopher Sanchez got 2 outs on 2 pitches immediately out of the game. Like, I understand you're trying to manage the win, Mike, but I mean, that felt like it was overkill last night.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, they're trying to get as many guys in, especially as many pitchers as they can in. I bet you if you asked Rob Thompson what he would want for a Christopher Sanchez All-Star appearance, he would have took 2 pitches and 2 outs, right? So, it's walking a balancing line between, how many innings you want the pitchers to go. Obviously, I thought, we would have all liked to see Skeens throw another inning last night, but that's just the way it is in 2024.
Well, the Phillies could probably see him this weekend in Pittsburgh, so they got that going for them,
Right, possibly on Sunday, I guess. So there you go,
Speaking of the Phillies, I made this comment before you came on, Mike. The only team in baseball history with 62 or more wins for the All-Star break that won the World Series was the 2018 Red Sox. So apparently Dave Dombrowski, Mike, is the only guy who knows how to win a bunch of games for the All-Star break and then win a World Series. How confident are you in Dave Dombrowski's ability to pull the right move at the deadline with the Phillies?
Well, I have all the confidence in Dave Dombrowski in the world. The guy is a Hall of Fame executive and a past world champion, as you said, with the Red Sox and with the Marlins. I just think what you talked about deals with the unpredictability of the baseball playoffs. Last year 3 teams won 100 games: Dodgers, Braves, and Baltimore Orioles, and they all lost in the playoffs. The Phillies are going to win 107, 108 games. They're going to have an awful lot of pressure on them when the playoffs begin.
You talk about pressure, Mike. For you, who is under more pressure? Is it the pitching staff or the offense?
Well, I think it's the offense, right? Because, let's say this. If I had to rank the pressure, I'd go offense, bullpen, starters. Because, you look at the playoffs, the runs the past 2 years, the starters have more than held up their share of the bargain. Yeah, there's been some tough starts. Noel had a few tough starts, but think of Wheeler in Game 6 in Houston, 5 innings before they took him out. The starters last year pitched pretty well. But the bullpen and the offense has just not come through when they needed to. So, if you're going to list the pressure that you're under, it's the batters, followed by the bullpen, followed by the starters.
You mentioned the bullpen, Mike. We obviously saw Strahm and Hoffman get into the All-Star game last night. I always look at the bullpen, Mike, as I don't know if I necessarily need like a Mason Miller, but I feel like they need one more guy because Alvarado and Hoffman have both pitched 42% of the games this year. You don't want to overkill your arms in the regular season and have them be tired for the postseason, right? So to me, I'm not saying I need the best pitcher out there, but I don't know if it needs to be Scott Air either, right? It needs to be someone maybe in between a closer and a random left-hander.
Yeah, you need another arm for that bullpen, preferably a right-handed guy. because, I don't have a lot of faith in Kirkring. He struggled his last couple of outings. Dominguez has struggled all season long. I think lefty-wise, although Alvarado hasn't been great, you're in good shape with Strom, Soto, and Alvarado. I got to go get another right-hander out of that bullpen, and it has to be a high-leverage guy. I think that's a must-get. Now, if they got the guy from Oakland, boy, that would be outstanding. You slot him into the closer, and you knock everybody down a slot, boy, you've got some bullpen then. But I think we can all agree they need another right-hander out of that bullpen, and that's one of the big moves I expect them to make in the next 2 weeks.
Talking with Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, joining us here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, the other thing is there's a lot of teams that are going to need help at the deadline. Like the Phillies, yeah, they want help, right? The idea that they would like another outfield bat, another bullpen pitcher. But teams like the Mets and the Braves and the Cardinals and the Padres, they're way more desperate, right? So is it something where maybe the Phillies just got to say, let them go out and get people first, and then we'll slide in and get who we want?
Well, I think the Phillies have to be proactive. This team is built to win this year and next year. 62, 63 wins at the All Star break. This is a team with World Series potential. I think you got to go out and be proactive and do whatever you can to improve the roster in the next 2 weeks. I don't think you can sit back and say we'll react to other people. I think the Phillies have to be the ones going out there and forcing the action. This is a team that is built to win now, and they've got to take advantage of it.
All right, so you're saying for Philadelphia, the idea that Dave Dombrowski just needs to zero in on who he thinks is best and just go get him. Don't let somebody else potentially swoop in and steal him.
Right, absolutely, and we all know what that is. We talked about the bullpen arm. Right-handed bat, right-handed outfielder that can hit with some power, play left field. That's what they need. Closer, another reliever. That's what they need. Dombrowski has got to go out and get those guys. This is a team that is built to win right now. The window is open right now. The Phillies might not have as good a chance as they have this year for a long while. They've got to go out and make sure the roster is as strong as it possibly can be for October.
Mike, I want to flip it over to football because we are counting down the days to training camps reporting, although the Baltimore Ravens rookies reported over the weekend, which is wild to me. But the clips that come out from Hard Knocks last night, and I got to tell you, Mike, Giant fans, I feel bad for them because it seems like this Joe Shane, he seems like such a wimp, man. I mean, this guy seems just like he got walked all over, didn't know what was going on. He had no idea the Eagles were really interested in Saquon Barkley. He didn't understand the market value of him. Like, this dude, he's looking like the dumbest person on earth. Like, I feel like Hard Knocks has exposed the Giants so much. I don't know what's worse, the fact that the Giants look bad or the fact that I don't think any other NFL team is ever going to want this to happen again.
Well, I don't know. I have a different viewpoint, Josh. I mean,
Okay.
I think the Giants are unfairly criticized a lot of the time, and specifically when it comes to Saquon Barkley, and specifically by people in the Philadelphia media market. I remember when the Giants drafted Saquon Barkley second in the draft, everybody stood up and said, how could the Giants take a running back second in the draft? Nobody takes running backs in the first round. You can get a running back in the fifth round, the sixth round that's just as good. Nobody wastes high picks on running backs anymore. Now you flip forward 4 or 5 years, and people are like, oh, how come the Giants didn't pay the 27-year-old awfully injured running back, a mega amount of deal? I mean, I think the Giants played the situation with Saquon Barkley about as well as they could play. They didn't want to pay him the money that the Eagles gave him. People look at running backs, age 27, how they deteriorate after that age. I just feel like the Giants are being unfairly criticized. No matter what they do, is wrong. So I look at it. Yeah, they lost Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Is Saquon Barkley going to be worth the price the Eagles paid for him? We'll find out. But history would say no.
All right, so if I play devil's advocate with you, because I hear what you're saying, Mike. I didn't like the fact that Shane told Barkley that he was going to let him go and find his market and then come back to him with the number. I felt like the Giants, they should have come out up front and said, this is the number we're willing to offer you.
Well, I actually like that Shane, again, to disagree with you, that he went out and said, to Saquon Barkley as I watched the team. He said, "Look, I don't know what your market is. You go out and get a number, and then you come back to us, and then we'll see if we can meet that number." And I thought his explanation of, we don't want to offer just say $10 million a year, and your market be $11 million a year, and you get upset and you leave for $1 million. So go out and get what your market is, and then bring it back to us, and we'll decide whether or not we want to, meet that price or exceed it. That's the way it played out. I think it was, conceivably a decent way to negotiate it. Nobody from the Giants wants to see Saquon Barkley and Kelly Green or Midnight Green or watch him go to an in-division rival. But could it be quite possible that the Eagles overpaid for Saquon Barkley? If you look at that contract compared to other running back contracts that were given out in the offseason, you can make that case. I guess only time will tell.
All right, so I want to put words in your mouth. So you clarify if I'm interpreting what you're saying right, Mike. You feel like Joe Schoen is getting a bad rap based on the footage that has been put on Hard Knocks, that he is being pigeonholed into something that is not realistic.
Well, he's just getting a bad rap from Eagles fans who are right now bragging about the fact that they think they put one over on the Giants by signing Saquon Barkley away from them. And my point is that, the Giants are unfairly criticized by people in the media, and especially the Philadelphia media, when they first drafted Saquon Barkley, and then that 5 years later, they're criticized for not paying him above and beyond what a lot of other running backs got as far as free agents in the offseason. So I don't have a problem with the way Joe Schoen handled the negotiations. Did I want the Giants to lose Saquon Barkley? Of course not. Did I want him to sign with the Eagles? Of course not. But that is a lot of money for a 27-year-old running back with an injury history.
Before I let you go, should the Giants be calling about Brandon Ayuk?
It's hard to say because I just spent 20 minutes defending Joe Schoen, and the other thing is watching Hard Knocks, you get the feeling that the Giants don't think they're very good, that they have a lot of holes, and that's one of the reasons why they let Saquon Barkley go, is because they didn't want to put that much money to one player, and they wanted to spread it around and try to fix the offensive line and get some weapons. The Giants have, they've got the kid from LSU. We'll see how he works out. But, it couldn't hurt to make a phone call to the 49ers and see if they can make a deal for him.
Well, if nothing else, the Giants got some defense. We know their defense is going to be there. Just the question is, I don't believe in Daniel Jones at all. So I feel bad for Giant fans. It's going to be another year with that guy under center.
Well, we're find out about Daniel Jones, but as I remember, Daniel Jones, I know people like to think it didn't happen, but he has won a road playoff game as an NFL quarterback, and there aren't many NFL quarterbacks who have done that, including the guy who quarterbacks the Philadelphia Eagles. So I realized it was Minnesota. People don't like to count it, but Daniel Jones has won a road playoff game. So, is this a make-or-break year for Daniel Jones? Absolutely. But I don't, again, people who discount him out of hand, I just don't see that.
Didn't TJ Yates also win a playoff game on the road?
Possibly, but Jalen Hurts hasn't. So, it is an accomplishment. It is tough to win playoff games. It's tough to win playoff games on the road. Daniel Jones did that. He came back last year and got hurt very early in the season. He has a history of injury problems. The way the contract is structured, if he doesn't work out this year, they can cut him and go in another direction. Obviously, the Giants have some questions about Daniel Jones because they were very interested in the quarterbacks at the top of the draft, according to the Hard Knocks show. So, we're going to find out about Daniel Jones this season, but I think to dismiss them out of hand would be wrong.
Well, we can agree to disagree, Mike. By the way, TJ Yates actually did win a playoff game for the 2011 Texans, whatever that's worth.
The Shakey's Bowl, the 4:00 game on a Saturday. There you go.
Mike, I appreciate you jumping on. I always enjoy the conversation, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
I'll see you down the road, Josh.
Mike McGarry for the Press of Atlantic City at AC Press McGarry on the Twitter X platform.